So it's Tuesday again, and today we're going to draw owls, and it's going to take a while because we're not drawing one, we're drawing three. So here we're going to do our rough sketches of the bodies with a branch underneath so we know that their bums are all sitting in the same place, and we're going to start with a whole lot of circles. And because we're drawing three owls, it's going to take a bit longer than how long it would take us to draw one pig or one unicorn like we usually do. So you see lots of circles here around the eyes, and I like kind of testing my circle before I draw it as well. And now some upside down triangles for the beaks. And everything here in that colour blue means it's being drawn in pencil, that we can rub it out afterwards. So we're just kind of testing out the lines and things we want to draw. So here we're giving the baby chick owl lots of fluff. Now the middle owl is getting a load of feathers around the eyes, which is going to be really nice, especially when it's coloured in. And then we're going to finish it off there. Just kind of have a look at what we'll do for the bigger owl. And the bigger owl is going to have some ears. And then we're going to do a little pattern on the owl's head. And I will show you how to make this pattern a little later, so don't worry if you're not sure about it yet. And now we're going to do the wings. So the wings come down over the two larger owls. The chick doesn't have any because there's so much fluff we can't see any wings. So we'll do the toes first, which are just kind of little sausages around the branch. And now we're going to start with the wings, and you'll see I'm not very happy with the wings I've given the biggest owl, so I'm going to change them. I'm going to rub them out and change them. So there we go. And now I'm going to give this owl some kind of more feathery wings wrapped around the belly. And this is why it's great to start in pencil, because you can kind of test out your ideas and have a bit of fun and see what you like and what you don't like before you go over in ink. So let's give them some eyes, and we're going to give the chick a curl in the middle of its head. And now we're on ink, so we're drawing over it with either a black pen or a marker or ink, and we're going to start with the eyes, doing a spiral all the way in, not forgetting to leave a white space so that we know where the owl is looking. So my first eye was fine, my second one isn't great, but it's fine. And now we're going to go and do some of the circles around the eyes and the beak. There we go. And another circle around the eye to make them look really big and owl-like. Around we go. And now we're going to do the ears. So we're going to give it a bit of fluff or feathers coming off the top of the ears. And the same on the other side. A couple of tufts just at the end of the ear. Now we're going to do the head bit here, and it's not a straight clothesline, but that's fine. And now we're going to go over these wings. So they're a little bit raggedy, but they're actually quite feathery and nice for an owl. And there we go. And now we're going to draw those sausagey toes around the branch, because the owl is sitting there quite comfortably. And now we're going to do that pattern I was telling you about, that I'll show you in a second, but we're going to fill the tummy and the head of this owl with this pattern. And this pattern can be used for feathers, but it can also be used for scales, so on fish or mermaid tails, that kind of thing. Or even chainmail. If you were drawing a knight in shining armour, you could do their chainmail like this too. So I'll just fill in the tummy of the owl, and then I'll take a second to show you how you can do this pattern. So here he is, all finished. Now if you look up at the top, you'll see I'm doing a couple of waves. Now my next waves are slightly sideways to them, so they're not exactly the same. Every row I'm kind of putting the top of the wave in the middle of the wave above it. So you can practice that, and once you get used to it, it's not too hard to do. And then you can draw chainmail, scales, fish scales, feathers, all sorts of things. Anyways, let's get back to our middle owl. So we've given them their pupils and their beak. Now we're giving them a bit more eyes, big round eyes. And I'm actually going to put a load of lines in that second circle. So you look, the owl looks a bit tired, but maybe we can fix that with some colouring in later. Or maybe the owl is just really tired because he was up all day. Now, all his lovely feathers. And let's do those wings. So this is kind of a young owl. Maybe they've been out partying all day and now it's night time. They're not quite sure. And we're going to give them lots of kind of feathery areas, but different to the larger owl. So these are just lots of little lines. And let's do their toes. There we go. And a couple more lines on their wings to kind of make them seem a little feathery in a different way to the bigger owl. And now let's look at the small baby chick. This guy's going to be super cute. I'm going to give them big eyes. There we go, giant eyes. And a little curl in the middle of the head. 2 more curls coming out. Oh, even a third one. And now lots of really fluffy fluff just coming out. So this owl is a giant ball of fluff. And now we'll draw in the branch that they're sitting on so that they seem like they're somewhere. Don't forget to close the branch in around the toes. There we go. And off it goes to one side. Now they look like a fun bunch. So we've rubbed out the pencil and now we're going to colour in. So this is fun because you can do any colours. You can stick with brown if you want, or white like some owls, but I like going for all sorts of colours. So the baby is green, and then we've got a darker green to put in some shadows around the eyes and around the edges. Now the middle owl is going to be purple. They could have also been really cool in like reds and greens and yellows. So see, now we've got a darker purple just for the shadows and under the eyes, under the wings, and wherever I've drawn some feathers. And I'm going to actually make the wings in the darker purple, and every second feather on the top of the head goes darker purple, and an even darker purple for a couple more shadows in around the eyes and the wings. And now the big owl, I'm going for a kind of a bluey, kingfisher blue type of colour for this owl. And now we've gone with a darker colour, slightly darker for the wings and around the eyes. I think I might change around the eyes in a minute. So now we've got kind of a bluey on top of that. And so we're colouring in some of the feathers on the tummy in a slightly different colour to make it a bit more interesting. And around the eyes there, inside the ears. And now let's give some shadows with the darkness. So you just put shadows kind of wherever you want, wherever you think they might look good. And it helps make the owl look spectacular. So now we've got some orange on the beaks and around the eyes. And let's colour in that branch. And oops, I forgot their toes. So let's do that. And fill in the branch in brown. And they look pretty cool. So we'll put a sky behind them and let's have them saying something. So the big owl is saying hoo hoo, and the middle owl is saying who, and the tiny owl is saying what, because they're not sure what's going on. So there, have a go and see if you can draw a couple of owls yourself, and I'll see you next Tuesday.